And died after he'd been pulled over by a West Fork police officer in December of last year. Now, 7 months later, that officer has been arrested. Good evening. I'm Chelsea Helms.
And I'm Chad Mira. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. This is West Fork police officer Christopher Cordero. He's been charged with negligent homicide in connection to a traffic stop that turned deadly.
An arrest affidavit says Cordero pulled a man over for driving on a suspended license in December 2022. The man had a medical condition, multiple, and refused to leave his car when Cordero reportedly asked him to. Cordero then physically removed the man and, according to investigators, tased him a total of 9 times. The officer then restrained him on the ground, and the man reportedly said multiple times that he could not breathe. When an officer from another department arrived on scene, she said Cordero had the victim face down in a ditch with his knee in his upper back. The last words that victim was heard saying that it was that he was dying before he ultimately did die on scene. The state medical examiner found his cause of death to be a combination of heart disease, methamphetamine intoxication, along with physical exertion, struggle, and restraint. He also...
So just so you guys know, if you take Adderall, it will come back on your tests as methamphetamines in your system. I used to take Adderall. I don't take Adderall anymore. But if they test your blood and you've taken an Adderall that day, it may come back as methamphetamine intoxication. And as you know, every bootlicker will tell you, if there's anything in your system, THC, if there's anything in your system at all whatsoever, then the coppers will say, look, he had THC in his system. And all the bootlickers will go, yay, he had THC in his system. This one says he has methamphetamines in his systems, which could have been his Adderall that he took that morning. We don't know. And we also don't know if this is true. We don't know. Remember, cops, after they kill somebody, will go and do a search warrant on their house to see if they can find anything that they can say they were bad. So we don't know if this is an actual truthful toxicology report or if this toxicology report has been created by the cops that murdered him. Created, invented. And by the way, don't think that this is an exaggeration. The most prolific criminal was a cop inside of a forensic testing lab. That cop inside of the forensic testing lab marked that every single sample that came in was the drugs that the cops suspected. It was 300 different people. Was it 3,000? It was a woman, and she was a lab technician, and she was the biggest cop sucker there was. Every single test that came in, yep, it's that. Yep, it's that. She did it to thousands of people. I can't remember the case off my head, but I'll look it up. So heart disease. So the guy told him, I can't breathe and you're attacking me. And now he's being charged with murder. I wonder if it was on camera. I wonder if these filthy pigs are hiding the body cam footage of what this pig did to a citizen, of him murdering. I wonder what this pig did. I wonder what this pig did. I wonder what he did. I wonder if there's a video of this pig murdering the guy. I'll bet you that there is. I'll bet you that, just so you guys know, put a 1 in the chat if you know who Tyree Nichols is. Put a 1 in the chat if you know who Tyree Nichols is. If you know who Tyree Nichols is, then just so you know, I believe this was in, where was that? Was that in Tennessee? Was that in Tennessee? Where was the Tyree Nichols murder? Anyway, so Tyree Nichols, the way those cops got caught chasing him down and murdering him is there was a camera on top of a light pole that happened to catch the murder. And let me give you the dates and times so you guys can get on the same page with me. Tyree Nichols was chased down by 5 with the supervisor too. 5 savage cops who wanted to murder him because Tyree Nichols was dating one of those cops' ex-wives. This is true. And so they chased down Tyree Nichols and they beat him to death. They put him in torture cuffs and then they took turns teeing off on his head and they beat him to death. This is true. And then about a month later, literally a month later, it took a month. And then the chief of police for that dog crap enforcer garbage organization then said, hey, look, we found this tape and these cops are now all fired and they're going to be arrested, right? But if the footage was guaranteed to be only in the cops' hands, those cops would have got away with murder because they never would have released it. Guarantee you that they've got the body cam footage that shows this filthy pig murder this man. I would bet my fingers on it. I would bet my fingers.
Had injuries he got from being tased.
Body camera footage showed that Cordero made no
body camera footage. So where is it then? Body camera footage.
He got from being tased.
Body camera.
So this is Northwest Arkansas News.
Footage showed that Cordero made no attempts to help the victim when he appeared to be in distress. We reached out to the West Fork Police to see if Cordero is still employed. We haven't heard back yet, but he's listed as an officer on the department's website.
West Fork Police in Arkansas. Does anybody know well, they're going to say it's part of an ongoing investigation right now and they won't release it to us, but I'll file for the body cam footage in Arkansas as well. I don't know what the laws are just now.
A man died after he'd been pulled over by a West Fork police officer in December of last year. Now, 7 months later, that officer has been arrested.
7 months later. You know, how many of you guys murder somebody and then a month or 7 months or 2 years later? You know, I want to remind you guys that Ronald Green was murdered in Louisiana and the cops are still cops. And it shows them beating him to death. I released the body cam footage on this channel. Just put Ronald Green, Greene. You can see the whole hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes of body cam footage. They beat him to death on camera. They hid the body cam footage for 2 years. I guess 2 years is enough time. After 2 years, you kill somebody. All done. All done. All done. So just absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. The whole problem with policing or copying or law enforcing in America is that we've created this system where if you don't say the right thing, if you say the wrong thing during the interaction with the copper, well, then you might go to jail or you might be detained, which equals torture cuffs. That's why I have the trifold on my website, DeleteLawz.com with the Z, DeleteLawz.com. You should have a trifold in your car at all times. Right when you start with the trifold, it starts with the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. And that's what I want you to do. I'm a freedom fighter. My job is to take on cops, and that's what I do. I don't want you to do what I do. I don't want you to go to jail. I want you to pull your trifold out with your license, registration, proof of insurance, all put together. You give the copper your trifold, you invoke your Fifth Amendment right immediately, and then you tell him, I'm not answering any more questions. This is harassment. And then you get it all on video. You record just like this as you use that trifold like it's your savior. That's the reason why I created it. If you want to get one, it's $9 for the digital download. It goes to your spam folder. Make sure you get that, or you can get a hard copy one for $30 and we send it to you from Santa Monica, California. So I don't want you to talk to cops. I don't want you to start the back and forth. Where are you coming from? Where are you heading? No, it says right here on my trifold, I'm not answering any questions. So if you start that, if you try to say, hey, I'm not answering any questions, then you come off aggressive. Whereas if you point to the trifold and you say, it says, I'm not answering any questions. It says on there, where am I coming from? I'm not answering that. Where am I going? I'm not answering that. It says right on your trifold, which is why I am the way I am.